Hamilton has just released the brand new Khaki Field Expedition, and I believe this is going to be the brand new hero product from Hamilton. In this video, we're getting hands-on with this watch and covering everything that you need to know about this watch, apart from we're doing it in Canada.
You know, I've always been in love with the outdoors, the unpredictable nature of the beast in which we all call life. In any expedition, a companion is needed, something to rely on, and something that keeps you walking in the right direction. And this is where the new Hamilton Khaki Field Expedition comes in.
Okay, well, this is unexpected. It's the weekend, and Hamilton have just delivered this. Don't actually know what it is, but they have a letter with it. Dear Harrison, please find your exclusive Hamilton Khaki Field Expedition watch enclosed. An all-terrain adventure timepiece for passionate explorers, equipped with a compass to guide you to even the most remote destinations. This is the ultimate companion for the great outdoors. We can't wait to welcome you to Canada, where your next adventure awaits. So this new Expedition model comes in two specific sizes. I've opted for the 37mm, but it also comes in a 41mm. It comes in black, blue or white. My personal favourite, and the one that I chose and I'm wearing at the moment, is the white. I just feel for a field watch, for a watch that you're going to be in the great outdoors with, it should be a little bit smaller. It should sit that little bit closer to the wrist in order that you don't get it cracked, damaged, scratched, whatever it is. So if you are going to wear this watch in places like this, in Canada, I'd go for the 37. Now you do have two options for this watch. You can either get the bracelet or go for the leather strap. Now what I've done is I've actually got it on the leather, but I changed it quickly over to a NATO. This is the old NATO from the old Khaki Field Mechanical, my old watch, and it just looks brilliant on this new model. This new watch comes in at 10.45mm in thickness, so it is pretty damn thin, and you'd expect that from an Expedition model. You don't want something that's going to be sitting far off of your wrist so that you can get it cracked and scratched. You want something sitting nice and close that's very, very light and durable. The lug width on this watch is 20mm, and it's a huge difference between the old Khaki Field Mechanical and the new Expedition. We were actually talking to the CEO of Hamilton Watches, Vivian, and he said that this watch is a lot more pronounced, it's a lot more deliberate. When they were making military watches, Khaki Field watches, they kind of needed to do them in bulk, so they maybe didn't spend as much time on the design. Whereas this one, and I can definitely see this, the design is so much nicer, cleaner and more deliberate. This Expedition model has a screw down crown, and something that you'll notice about the crown is it's a lot more bulky, a lot more grippy than the previous Khaki Field Mechanical. I actually really like it, but one little thing that I found about it, and this is kind of a thing that goes across all big bulky crowns that are pretty pronounced, that have good teeth, is that dirt does get trapped within that crown. Not a big thing, but it's something that you notice. That screw down crown means that this watch has a water resistance of 100 meters, and for the price you're paying, we'll get onto that in a second, but it's looking like a pretty good package. Now, one of the main differences in this watch to the previous version, and I'm sure you've seen it, is the compass on the dial, or around the dial. And this is quite a cool thing. This is something that not many other watch brands have done, and something that I think is a lot more useful than a rotating bezel and a diving watch. The reason being is that I'm not a diver. I probably don't use it at all, other than just to play with it. So having genuine functionality for a purpose that I genuinely need it for, like hiking or whatever it is, it's pretty good. Future Harrison here. I had a bit more time to think about this watch and what I wanted to say about the dial. Sometimes it's good to sit on it for a little bit and wear it a little bit before you get your general consensus. So the hands and the indices are filled with Super Luminova, and we actually had a chance to shoot this in astro format in Canada where we are, and it looked super bright, especially for a 900 quid watch. It's actually really, really good. Now the hands and the indices, not the big bold black markers, but the hands and the indices, the kind of secondary markers, are in tanned, and this gives this watch a totally different personality. It makes it look that little bit more vintage, and also feeds back into the military inspired design. And I like the fact that Hamilton have done this, because they could have easily gone down the route of kind of a dive watch without going down the fully functional diver route. So yeah, it looks good. Now if you want to take a closer look at the hands and the indices of this watch, you can actually virtually try the watch on the Chisholm Hunter website, where we're official stockists of Hamilton watches. I think one of the reasons why the white dial looks so good is that it actually has sapphire crystal glass with anti-reflective coating, but to my right is Adrian, who went for the black dial. Adrian, what do you think of this new release?
Hey man, yeah, I think it's a really interesting addition to the Khaki range, because the Khaki range is kind of like the hero product, right, of Hamilton. And it would be very easy for them to go down the route of doing a diver, but that doesn't really fit within the field watch sequence. So I think this is a very clever way of them having a dive watch format with a rotating bezel and a hefty case, but without going down that route and just adding to the field watch collection. I think it's killer.
One thing that I love about this watch is the fact that it has an open case back. Now this open case back reveals the H10 movement, and this has 80 hours of power and a Vacheron balance spring. And pardon me, this hike's getting, Jesus Christ. Now interestingly enough, when we talk about the movement of this watch, when we talk about the H10 movement, all ETA movements are different, and this of course has an ETA, but after a conversation with Vivian, he actually said that this is the highest grade of ETA movement within this watch, which basically means it doesn't have any plastic components, which is interesting because for this price, at £965, to have an ETA movement that is the highest grade is pretty damn killer. You know, I was thinking of other things to say about this watch. I was trying to think of negative things to say, but there's not much I can say when it comes in at such a good price. There's not much negativity I can draw when this watch is under £1,000 with the leather strap, especially when you put it on a NATO. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this watch, guys? I'm gonna have to, let's sit down, let's just take a seat together, because Jesus, I'm getting old. That's what it is. I think I'm slowly getting old. So, the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical was obviously a huge hit for Hamilton. It kind of put them on the map in a lot of ways. I think that this will be essentially the new Khaki Field Mechanical. It's more functional. It's automatic instead of mechanical. Now, nothing wrong with mechanical movements, but it is more convenient to have a mechanical. It has that fully functioning compass. The lugs have been definitely cleaned up and tapered in that little bit. Now, one thing I would say, and I've kind of already said it, but I'm gonna say it again, I do wish this watch would come on a NATO strap. For me, leather straps aren't really for the outdoors. They're more dressy, more classy. And I think NATO straps, fabric straps, are what should be in the outdoors. You don't really want a bracelet because you're gonna get it scratched. It's good that it has it, but you don't really want it. I don't think you really want a leather because it looks that little bit more dressy. So NATO is maybe where they'll go next. Maybe that's next year's prediction. A Khaki Field Expedition NATO. That'd be cool. You know, I do feel quite guilty about getting this new watch because the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical was such a sentimental piece of mine. But for now at least, this just is better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
More importantly, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you like to start this video, hit the subscribe button down there and that little bell icon so you get notifications when he drops a new video. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.